Hello and welcome to Comics with Jose. My name is Jose. I love comics and I want to share them with you. Follow me on Twitter at Art of J Velez or on Instagram at jvelez622 where I share some doodles that I work on and a little comic book story that I'm currently working on as well, free of charge. I do this for fun and I just enjoy talking and sharing comic books. Like, follow, and subscribe if you like the channel. We're going to go over comic book stories that I have. I own a lot of comic books over the years. We're going to use digital, however, because it's easier to share on digital on your computer screen or phone. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here as we go through comic books that I enjoyed. Today we're going to cover Amazing Spider-Man, number 315 from 1989, drawn by the one and only Todd McFarlane, one of the greatest artists ever, one of the people whose art style has influenced thousands and thousands. I have two copies of this. I have a newer version that I keep in the box, and I still have the original that I bought when I was in high school that I have read and read and read and read and read all the time. It's it is in such bad condition that I probably couldn't even get a quarter out of it. It's in terrible condition. I actually have the full run of Todd McFarlane's. I have it twice. I have it in a newer format that or newer issues that I bought a few years ago before the pandemic happened, and I still own the originals. So that I bought when I was in high school. So Todd McFarlane is a huge influence on me. He's just someone whose artwork I really admire. I also own the artist edition of Todd McFarlane when he did the that just came out. It's his artist edition that he did for the Spiderman ones. Someday I will buy the Spawn ones. They are completely out of print. If Todd McFarlane ever hears this, please, please, please put re-release your artist editions for Spawn, at least in trade or something. I just love his art. I just don't think there's enough Todd McFarlane art in the world. So this is the return of Venom. Venom has last appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 300, so it's been a little bit of time, and now we are bringing him back. So in this issue, he of course fights Hydro Man. Love this cover. Well, I love almost all Todd McFarlane covers. I love how when he's underwater, no webbing, a little bit the color changes, and Hydro Man is like the Sandman. It's just water. So we are here now in a superhuman jail called the Vault. I believe it's in Colorado. And he sees someone on the floor, so he hits the card to disable the security system. The problem is he didn't have to, because he could have actually gone right through. It was designed to keep Venom in, and he did not realize that. And turns out that the person in there was Venom. And Venom, unfortunately, kills this dude. Here are the credits. I call him Michelini, but I've heard him called Michelini. So he was very big during the Iron Man run with Bob Layton, and I'm sure we will get to an issue or two. He had two runs with Layton on Iron Man. Todd McFarlane, of course, does both the pencils and the inks. McFarlane is quite the hatcher. He does a lot of hatching, and he only puts the inks on things that are supposed to be black. So Venom does not like killing, but he finds it necessary. Sacrifices have to be made. Venom is evolved as other artists take him. McFarlane has gone on record saying he just likes him with these big teeth. He does not like those teeth that everybody else does with the huge mouth. But as other people have interpreted him, I love this big. It's like drawing the Hulk and putting a Venom costume on him. So he wants vengeance on Spider-Man. So we step away, and Spider-Man is just right in the middle of fighting the Hydro Man. These webs were called the Spaghetti Web by the editor-in-chief at that time, Tom DeFalco. McFarlane has gone on record stating that if you were to follow the strand, you can follow it all the way from beginning to end. He was always putting Spider-Man in these positions that or poses, not and he's very famous for all these action poses that he puts him in. Does those huge big eyes. Nobody else did big eyes until him. And then he does something else. If you take a look at Spider-Man's feet, he puts a bit of a I don't know, like if it was triangle-ish. So that's a McFarlane trope of his. So here he comes to fight Hydro Man and throws this thing at him, hits the cement, and body's turning lumpy, and he goes into the sewer. So he leaves, gets his camera. He is still a photographer for the Daily Bugle. Once again, this is what I mean. He just puts them in these dynamic poses. This is what made McFarlane such a fan favorite. Nobody before him had done anything like this. Nobody. And when you do these a different style than anybody else has seen, you really make a name for yourself. And this to this day, people look at this era, particularly people my age who was here during this time, and he's just an immense influence. I just cannot tell you how big Todd McFarlane was during that time. He's still huge with his toy company, but I mean, he puts out Spawn, but he really doesn't do anything with Spawn. I think he plots it, somebody else scripts it, somebody else draws it, doesn't even do the covers. He's all in on that toy line of his, and it's great, and he's made his money. Ultimately, if that's all he cares about is making money, then he's made money hand over fist. I am a little bit more selfish. I really would love for him to draw. And it's the one thing I truly, truly wish he would go back to doing. I truly miss his art. So he's going back home. He's living with Aunt May, as we found out in the last issue. He'd been evicted from the where he used to live with Mary Jane, and so they're now living with Aunt May. And so these are some of Aunt May's friends, and this is kind of her boyfriend. And she's cooking. This is Mary Jane's sister. And he's walking. He notices that is his name Nathan? I really don't remember. But anyway, he is stealing money from Aunt May, he believes. So at the vault, Venom is still trying to escape and doesn't kill this guy, but kind of chokes him a little bit. The guy tells him how he can get out, and Venom escapes. Says here, he'll be found unconscious. He'll be transferred, granted early retirement. He will never ever sleep soundly again. Some PTSD, I guess, if you are almost killed by a villainous. Venom is now sort of a hero, but just know that Venom was a villain. Um, but you know, revisionist history. He was very popular, so Marvel kind of gave him a face turn. At one point, Flash Thompson became Venom, the symbiote. But Eddie Brock, I think, is back as Venom. So another pose by Todd McFarlane. As far as his poses go, this is actually one of the more simpler ones. So yeah, Nathan was his name. He's withdrawing money from the ATM. He's very upset, and Peter's in there, and Nathan doesn't want to tell him. He says no. Nathan says, "Oh, now you're gonna bully cripple," and Peter says, "Not that slow, but I saw you take the bank card from Aunt May," and Peter says that he has gambling debts, and they beat him and put him in the hospital, and that was back in Amazing Spider-Man 271. So it's been a long time since that, and so Peter uses the money from his advance to put it in Aunt May's. McFarlane does these vertical panels. He's the only person that I know of that just does this all the time. A lot of people do the horizontal panels. This dude is money with these vertical panels. All the hatching that he does, it's just beautiful. So Peter's back, um, and they're gonna go talk. Her sister, well, is like, all right, and Aunt May's gonna make some, ask her to make some cocoa. And then she asks him if there's a problem. He says, "Yep." And then Aunt May goes in the kitchen, sees Nathan, and she's like, "Are you trying to snack?" And he's like, "Oh, yep, yep. I guess couldn't wait till supper," and just kind of smiles. But he's up to something. You can see the sweat beads. Um, McFarlane is so incredible. He has so many money shots, and sometimes you look at his composition, and you kind of go, "Oh, that's." If you were to render this without all these details, it definitely wouldn't look as good. But when you look at all his rendering, he puts it where it counts. Notice here, this desk, it's just a desk. You mean nobody, just enough so you can see it. But he really puts it on the front, so when you see it, it really, really looks good. Um, and she notices that there's flour. Aunt May is always dressed as an old lady. She was dressed as an old lady for a long time until J. Michael Straczynski kind of, during his run, kind of had her given him. Uh, they kind of de-aged her a little bit, kind of a makeover that she was given, so she doesn't kind of look like a grandma anymore. But she's still older, but just more contemporary. So Nathan's leaving, but he doesn't realize that Spider-Man's following him, and these guys he says he only could only get 500, and says that's not enough, and they're gonna kill him. So he uses his knife, or a knife that he took from the house, to kind of slash them a little bit, and some bug spray. Then they're gonna shoot him. He throws the flower at them, and here comes Spider-Man. Love, love, love. Like I said, the poses that he puts him in are just absolutely great. And so Spider-Man kind of disposes of them and leaves. And he says this isn't over, and then they're gonna get even with him. Uh, Peter shows up. He says, "I got you guys trying to murder a senior citizen. It'd be a shame if the negatives found a way to the district attorney, wouldn't it?" And so they don't say anything. So he leaves. And so Peter tells him to give up gambling, and for Aunt May, he says he will, and that he's gonna go out, buy some stuff, and then lottery tickets, and then he feels ashamed. And so we have an epilogue. We have this van traveling. This is another trope that he does with the lights, the big circles. And these people gave Venom a ride, and Venom is going to confront Peter. So this was Amazing Spider-Man 315. Hope you liked it. It's always fun for me to go and look at McFarlane art. So like, follow, subscribe if you enjoy this. Thank you. Bye.